that one. Mm. 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 Mm.
Sal Bandini. Wanna wrestle?
In the heart of Texas, two dudes making noise, talking about pro wrestling on the podcast. Big up boys, big money guys, we be throwing down the rhymes, kicking it live, representing the Lone Star State every damn time.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this special episode of the Ring Rundown. As always, I have my boy Mr. SP with me, and we are just a few days removed from good old Juggalo Weekend San Antonio. Did you enjoy it, brother?
Indeed, I did, man. It was a good weekend filled with wrestling, hanging out with friends, and some good music, and lots of Fago as well.
Yeah,
Can't forget about the Fago.
I had a great time too. I enjoyed it. This is the first time I ever went and I didn't actually buy any merch. That's weird for me. I was very tempted with them ICP bobbleheads though. Then I was like, well, that my shelves are already kind of full, as you can see back here, so I wouldn't know where to put them. I am a bit jealous of your JCW jersey though. That thing looked fresh as hell.
Yes, finally got me a JCW jersey. I had an OG JWO jersey that I got back in 2008 that I was contemplating wearing, but didn't want to if we were going to be getting covered in Fago at the concert Saturday night. So
I feel that
because it's got 2 autographs on it. 2 people you might know, Violet J and Shaggy 2 Dope, a little autographed on each shoulder. So definitely didn't want to wear that and get it covered in Fago and then wash it. The signatures.
I guess I'm lame now because like I stayed to the back the whole time. I got hit with a little bit of Fago. I used to be right in the mix, but just too many times going to ICP shows where afterwards you got to go get in your car and you're all sticky, and then sometimes it's cold and you're freezing out there. It's just not for me anymore, but I used to. Now, Fago Armageddon, if I'm a part of that, I go all out, but
we always brought extra t-shirts and towels and stuff like that to change out of and dry ourselves off, so we're not too worried about that.
I started doing that myself. I bring a little ice chest with some towels and water, warm water, and a change of clothes, but I'm lazy and I don't want to go through all that. But yeah, I'd rather just get in and go. But it was still a grandiose time. But
did you notice though that Saturday they had more merch out than what they had on Friday?
I didn't notice that really.
Yeah, because they really didn't have any of the hats out. They didn't have any of the DVDs, CDs. The bobbleheads weren't there. So there was a lot of stuff that they put out Saturday that they didn't put out on Friday. So
now I figured the bobbleheads weren't there, but like I didn't really like the first day. I didn't get very close to the merch table because the line stayed freaking hell long the whole time. So I didn't really look at the stuff that was on the table, so I wouldn't have noticed if that was there or not, to be honest with you. But I mean, it it's like I said, this was my first time not buying. Usually I spend some money on merch, but this time I kind of abstained myself. But I tell you this though, other than I enjoyed. My favorite part was definitely the Wicked Wonka show that they played on night 2. That was awesome. Best set I've ever seen. I enjoyed Darby O'Trail. I enjoyed seeing KMK live. As always, I enjoyed Ouija. But my favorite part of the whole weekend was definitely that stacked ass card from JCW. Quick rundown for you. Like, we're just gonna kind of review it and talk about it. Like, the brothers are fun struction, dude. I am on their nuts big time. I enjoyed those guys so much. I want to see them go places. I want to see them I mean, AEW, they could take this someplace. They were my favorite part of the whole entire show. Was definitely these guys. Relatively, I tried to look them up online, and not much is known by them about them. Matter of fact, during the ICP set on night 2, there was these 2 serious, like, tall, big guys standing next to me. And there was this one tall chick with him, and she was like dancing, have a good time, and the guy was just kind of there like this. And she was like, come on, like she wanted to go up to the front. The guy was like, oh, no, I don't feel like it. And it took me forever to figure out who those 2 guys were, and they were the Brothers of Funstruction without makeup. And I'm like, bro, their vibes are way different when they're out of that paint. But I mean, I guess, they're probably tired and stuff. They had wrestled all night. But yeah, it took me till the end of night 2 to realize that that's who they were. Those are, bruh, up close. That's some big dudes, bruh. They were taller than me. I'm 6'2".
Are you sure you're talking about the Brothers of Construction? Because to me, they looked relatively small. Like,
not huge, not huge. They look smaller, not huge, but they're not small guys. Oh, this is with them. These it was these guys for sure. I couldn't figure after I pictured their face and stuff, but I thought they were little bitty dudes. But up close, they're about my height, maybe a little bit taller. They were some pretty sizable guys, not small at all. Fit the bill of a wrestler. But I'm 100% sure that was these 2 guys. And when I looked at their faces hard, I was like, yeah, that's them. Plus, one of them's girlfriend had she was there. She had clown paint on and a Brothers of Funstruction t-shirt. And during the wrestling, I was seeing her, and she was alone the whole time. So it made sense. I was like, okay, that's one of their girlfriends. Okay. And yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of them. What else? I mean, give us a rundown, brother. What did we have? I know you were way more into it, because I was trying to be into it, but I had Mr. Johnny Servant. I'm not gonna say his last name. Mr. Johnny there, everybody's favorite piece of crap juggalo, and he'll tell you that too. He was bothering me the whole time, so I couldn't really get into it. You were right there front and center. I was unable to be, but what were some of your favorite parts, my man?
Yeah, so Friday we caught, some of the wrestling. We definitely caught the Brothers of Construction match. The wife wanted to go see those because she used to be a clown when she lived up in Michigan. She did balloon animals and stuff like that. So she definitely wanted to check them out after hearing all the stories that I told her about them being on NWA Power with Violent J and them being the JCW Tag Team Champions. But after that match, I wanted to go get my merch, so I was stuck in the merch line.
I did see you there.
For the remainder of the JCW event. So
that sucker was moving so slow.
Oh, it was taking forever, and that's how it usually is at shows. You have everybody who wants to look at every single size t-shirt that they have just to see if it fits, and then they're and they're what to haggle, with the merch guys, either from the venue or Psychopathics merch guys, and it just makes for people just getting irritated standing in line waiting for their turn to go up and get some merch. But I was watching JCW as well while waiting in line, so I did get to see the Battle Royale to crown the new #1 contender, and happy to announce that the Chocolate Juggalo homie Willie Mack ended up winning that Battle Royal to become your new JCW champion.
Well deserved.
Yes, but going back to the merch, so once I finally got up there, that's all they pretty much had out was just what was up on the push back in stadium seatings. So they had them all taped up there, what they had so far, and then, like I said, the tables were pretty much blank, just with maybe like a couple CDs scattered here and there. But they had no hats, no nothing of that. The Bible, the not the Bible, but the Jay's Bloody Sunday deluxe album wasn't up there. That wasn't out till Saturday. Behind the Paint, that wasn't out till Saturday. Just a lot of stuff that they didn't have day one, they put out day two. Which kind of sucks because that's extra money that they missed out on trying to get by not having all that stuff. Because you got to figure everybody that goes to these shows, they're going to want to try to buy as much merch as they can.
Everybody except me.
So that way they don't have to worry about it the next day. They can just enjoy hanging out with friends, the shows, whatever else it is that's going on.
That line deterred me the whole time.
Oh yeah, I was in that line for easily another hour up until I finally got, my merch. And like you said, man, you definitely drop a pretty penny on it once you add everything up. So it was definitely about a $400 plus merch weekend that weekend. So
I abstained. I was thinking, I was like, that line. I was like, I don't want to miss out on anything. But I did see the matches, and let me go from memory here. The first match was Congo Kong versus James Ellsworth. That was it wasn't a high work rate match by no means, but it was a fun match. I enjoyed it. James Ellsworth, good at what he does, good at being a squash guy. Congo Kong looked great. I haven't seen him in years, since probably he's been on TNA. He looked good. He was, doing his thing. The second match, I can't remember who it was exactly. I did, who I'm also, other than the Brothers of Funstruction, this guy right here, if y'all can see him, what's the Thrillbilly, Silas Mason. I saw him about 2 years ago in Concord, North Carolina, which is like a small town.
Isn't he in that Southern Six?
Yeah,
trio
from the Southern
group?
Six.
Okay.
I enjoyed them a lot. This guy though, like especially him though, he is gonna be something. I know he's on his way up right now, but he's gonna be in WWE, AEW. He is awesome. I saw him in like I said, in a little bitty like this wrestling show was in a strip mall, like a little building inside of a strip mall, and it was way out in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina, a little small town. I just heard about the show from a whim. The show, I'm not trying to talk bad about it, but it was a lot of local talent, a lot of work rate wasn't really high. The storylines wasn't really high. It was a thrown together show. But the person that stuck out to me the most was the Thrillbilly Silas Mason. I was just in awe when I watched him. He was the best part of the show. I enjoyed the hell out of him. And then after that, I kind of forgot about him. I think I remember I messaged you or your wife, and I told y'all about, I was like, this dude is going to be it. This dude, like he was throwing people, lift them like with effortlessly. Like the dude's strong as an ox. And he's big, and he has a great gimmick. He moves well in the ring. The dude is the total package. And I'm so thrilled that I got to see him again and to find out that he's what championship does he hold? I think in NWA, right?
Yeah, I believe he's one of their champions.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. The dude, he needs the rocket strap to his boots. He is awesome. The other two guys are awesome too.
Yeah, no, they definitely had a really good trios match with the team that they were facing.
Speaking of which, let me roll the clip right quick before you go any further. This was them. I believe, yeah, you recorded this. This was the Southern Six doing a sneak attack to the Brothers of Funstruction and Willie Mack in the
day 2 at JCW the Awakening. So
yeah, this is the 6-man tag match that they had. Check this out. This is a pretty cool video.
That makes sense. I'm trying to. I think I can get an extra one for you. What the fuck is doing?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was a good video. I had to shorten it a little bit because I had to email it to myself and the file was too long, but I got the good gist of it there.
And I was really happy to be able to get to experience something like that, you know, because I never, of all the wrestling shows that I've been to, I never got to be in a part like that where someone, you know, jumps the guardrail to go into the ring to attack their opponents. That was pretty cool for us to get to witness. And with me being right there, and one of the guys, he actually, you know, came up to me. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "I kind of need to get through here because I'm going to be jumping into the ring." And I kind of like, okay, whatever, you know, thought he was fooling with me, you know, just screwing with me. And then I looked closer, and yeah, he really was one of the wrestlers. He had his boots, his gear on, and everything like that. And then I saw the other
What's
two
his?
did the
What's
same thing, and so that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, so this is how they're gonna attack, you know, for their triple threat match coming up now.
what was his? I know one of them is the sons of one of the Rock and Roll Express. I want to say.
Morton, yeah, Terry Morton, I believe, whose son, Ricky Morton.
Yeah, he's good too, but like I said, the guy that sticks out of the three though is definitely Silas Mason. Was the guy at the end of the video, the big guy with the mullet. He is something else. Then like during
So what else happened? What else happened in that match? Isn't there? Do we have?
Oh yeah, I was just about to get to it. I was just about to get it. Then all of a sudden we hear that nah nah da nah nah, and look who comes out.
And the Troubles are on the attack. Give them a taste for adventure. All these pieces of trash from Blood County, Tennessee. Silas makes a takeout. Down goes Alex. Karen Martin kicks in the gut.
Don't touch my daddy!
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Violent J comes out, does a run in, man. I was so hoping to see that, and it delivered.
There was even a spot where Levo Silas got tied up in the ropes, and Jay was holding on to his hair.
Oh, I got
where Brothers of Construction, where while one of them, I think Yabo,
whipping him with his tie,
doing chops on him with his big old flapjack tie, and
I have footage of that, and I totally forgot to clip it for this recording. But yeah, so and what good news is the whole time they were recording, they had a hard cam and everything. So hopefully we see a DVD or this drop somewhere on streaming. My hope is that they really start putting equity back into JCW. You know, especially if they're, you know, we all know ICP is about to not to say slack off, but they're about to scale back a little bit, not doing the touring. Like this year is supposed to be, or next year is supposed to be their last tour. What I would love to see out of that is them really get behind JCW, and we start seeing some JCW shows. We start seeing, some continuity. We start seeing, a weekly, television show, JCW, maybe on the Patreon or on Twitch or something. Because I would definitely.
One thing that I noticed about their ring though is that they didn't have the ropes tight enough to where, because when a wrestler was standing on the second rope, that second rope there in the corner on the turnbuckle was dropping down pretty low. So they definitely need to work on making sure that the ropes are tight enough where they can still bounce off of them, but they're not going to give way like how they were over the weekend and how they have done.
That's a good. I saw Congo Kong had trouble with the ropes when he was standing on top, and then in the hardcore match, the final main event that we saw with Madman Pondo. Well, I'll go ahead and roll the clip now, as you can see here. I'm not sure if that had something to do with it, but it looked like he definitely slipped.
I wouldn't say slipped, but I think he knew. He's like, oh crap, I can't, stand on this top rope for very long. I just got to step on and just kind of fall off, onto my opponent quickly through the through that whiteboard.
Yeah, but it definitely, that was a hell of a match too. That was light bulbs and staplers, and it was a great
staple gun, the fluorescent light tubes. What else? I think there was a knife brought. I think Pondo pulled a knife out of his wrestling boot and stuck his opponent in the head with it. And obviously, Pondo brings out his saw thing. That's on the end of like a baseball bat or whatever, and
drug it across his forehead. Also, what we forgot to mention, Nick Gage was in the building. Him against Colt Cabana. That was a pretty fun match. Also, Colt Cabana and his Officer Colt or whatever.
Officer Colt Cabana and his
gimmick,
his law, and just saying that he's going to take all the juggalos down and do adult things to
make him drop the soap.
Make him.
I have all this on video. I was so focused, I forgot to check my own. I could have clipped all this. I'll drop it on the channel for everyone to see. I'll maybe even edit it to the end of this video so everybody can see. But yeah, I actually had some footage too that I totally forgot that I recorded.
So going into day 2 of Juggalo Weekend, man, I don't know if I had mentioned this previously, but Wicked Wonka was my very, very first ICP related concert. That was my first time seeing ICP, Cottonmouth Kings, Tech 9, and Bone Thugs and Harmony. And to be able to relive it, 21 years later, was more on the sentimental and just meant more to me than anybody could ever, imagine. And getting to see Cottonmouth, now obviously we all know that it's not Cottonmouth of the old days, but who they have now, Chucky Chuck, D-Loc, obviously an OG member, Taxman, an OG member, and Judge D was amazing. Like, it made me go back to the early 2000s when I was a fan, standing at the shows in the crowd and just getting all into it, man. It just,
I don't know if you know this, but they're the reason why I wear my hats like this. I got that off of them. And even though I've never been a weed guy myself, but I still love me some Cottonmouth. King Spade more so. I wish they had Johnny Richter. I don't know what's going on with him, but
I don't even know. I mean, it was him, Chucky Chuck, and this other dude. I can't even remember what his name is. But they had their own small little called King Click, and they did a tour with Blaze Your Dead Homie a couple years ago, and that was the last of the last that we heard of them, and then
This new form.
Chuck joins. Yeah, Chuck joins Cottonmouth, and then Taxman, and so this new lineup again. Obviously, we all miss the old.
This one was
lineup
serviceable though. It was
and,
serviceable.
they definitely did. They definitely did a great job. And then seeing D-Lo come out during Lazy Bone's set was hilarious.
That was funny.
I don't know if you saw that, because D looked like he knew like a few. He knew a few of the rhymes that Lazy was going with, but other than that, any of the stuff that Bone Thugs had done with Notorious B.I.G. or any of the collabs or anything like that they've that Bone Thugs is known to do with other artists, especially in the early 90s and stuff like that. He had no idea. Oh, another thing that I really thought was dope was Lazy Bone did his verse from Hydro off of Twisted's Green Book album.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that was a little nice little added bonus into his set was hearing his verse off that song. So
I'm now a Darby O'Trill fan. I really enjoyed his set. The other thing that's pretty crazy that happened to me was I was standing like ringside, because I'd gotten there really early, and I was standing ringside, and all of a sudden I see a lady come by me right here that's like, that tall to me. I look over, I'm like, I do a double take, and I'm like, and she just smiles. I'm like, Jazz? She's like, yeah. I'm like, when I was a kid, I thought you were like 6'12", or she's like, yeah, everybody thought I was tall. She goes, yeah, I ain't tall, I'm short. She goes, China wasn't nothing but about this tall. She goes, I was like, is Rodney on the card? She's like, yeah, he's coming out. I was like, she goes, yeah, but that's my baby refereeing right there. The young girl,
nice.
Yeah, that was Jazz's daughter, was the young girl that was refereeing.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was just like, whoa. I forget how big I am. And then sometimes I see wrestlers, I'm like, dang, they're small. And I forget, I was like, well, Carlos, or Dropkick, you're a pretty big guy. So, but
Rodney has his own wrestling school.
Dog Pound
down in San Antonio. So yeah, Dog Pound Wrestling Academy, I believe. What it is.
Yeah, she was actually telling us. She goes, "Yeah, we got our own wrestling and we got our own promotion, Dog Pound." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna check it out. It looks good." Like I said, Rodney Mack was there. He did a hell of a performance. He tweaked somebody's nipples. He gave somebody a nurple. I saw that. That was pretty awesome.
I believe, that might have been day 2. No, was that day 2?
I think it was during the 6-man tag. I believe
maybe it was then. I don't know. It was, like I said, I was standing in line in the merch line. So.
Oh, and I think it may have been the guy that was with Mr. Happy that he got. I want to say.
Possibly.
Who's that Mr. Happy? Is he a JCW original?
I wouldn't say original, but because it was.
I've never seen him before.
And neither have I. Mr. Happy and Cotton Candy. Those were definitely an interesting tag team, to say the least.
I've never seen those guys before. Then we saw Mosh Pit Mike take on Congo Kong. That was a pretty decent match. That's my first time I've seen I've heard his name everywhere, but this was my first time ever seeing him action, and he's pretty dang good, I'll say. But yeah, just all around good show, good wrestling show, good music performances. There was I remember we talking about it, but there was some issues with the audio, like with the acoustics.
Yes, Friday night during the concerts, their audio was horrible. But the further you got away from the stage, the better it sounded.
Yeah. And I think
definitely, I know we were all glad they got it fixed to where they could deliver the Wicked Wonka show.
The Boeing,
as it was.
Well, I mean, the Boeing center there, it's relatively a new center, so that's probably stuff that, that's got to be ironed out over time. But yeah, all in all, amazing show. Anything you want to add about the Juggalo weekend before we move on?
The only thing I'm sad about that they didn't do during the Wicked Wonka set was there was a song that they did not perform that was on the original set list, and that was "Homies to Smoke With." And a lot of people are
I
really
heard about.
saying, I'm like,
I've heard them do it without
but
Twisted's verses. I've heard them do it without Twisted's verses.
and that's exactly how it was when they did it back on the tour back in '03. So it still could have been done. And I mean, even during, and I made this point, I had stated this point, with someone through through Facebook, was that, during Get You Wicked On, there's that line that Shaggy, spits out, Yo Monox Boogie, where the weed at. He said that line, and that line was kept in. So it's kind of funny how people pick and choose what they want to include in their set list. So
I wonder.
It is what it is, but that's just one of the songs that I thoroughly enjoy, especially off the Wizard of the Hood album. I was hoping to hear it again, but like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah, so great.
It still doesn't take away from the amazing night that night 2 was.
It was a great night. Just all around great weekend. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But now moving on. Something else.
What do we got next on the rundown?
Something else happened that day. Actually, it was WWE's Elimination Chamber. I watched it. I watched it that Sunday night.
Australia.
Yeah, so what do you want to run down about this, Mr. SP?
So this was definitely an interesting one because it started at 4 o'clock here in the United States for all of us. That's 4 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning. And so this was one definitely anyone a fan of wrestling is either going to watch at the time that it starts, or they're going to catch the replay later on that day, if not the following day. So we do have our 2 official Elimination Chamber match winners. They are Becky Lynch, who will be facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40 for the women's title, and the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre has won and will now be going to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Another note, so after Randy Orton eliminated Logan Paul with that vicious RKO out of nowhere, right before Randy Orton was about to pin somebody else, Logan Paul came back in and hit Randy Orton with the brass knucks, that little knockout punch that he has. So the question is this going to set up a match between the 2 of them at WrestleMania 40? Dropkick Zombie, what do you think?
That wasn't the only thing. I think that's going to set up a program with Orton and Logan Paul, but we also saw the Phenomenal One make his entrance into the chamber and attack LA Knight. So I think that is gonna I think that's gonna set them up. So we saw not only Drew McIntyre win, but we saw the beginning of 2 programs that are probably gonna carry over into WrestleMania. So I was actually going for LA Knight to win, but I mean I'll be satisfied with a good program between him and AJ Styles, 2 guys that had very long careers in total nonstop action wrestling, so it makes sense.
Well, I mean, obviously AJ Styles is a NWA TNA Impact Wrestling original, and then Eli Drake, aka LA Knight, wasn't in until the late 2000s, maybe early 2010s, I want to say.
He wasn't by stretch an original, but he had a pretty lengthy stay in TNA.
Yeah, he definitely did when he came onto the scene in Impact Wrestling or TNA.
His first big break.
Yeah, definitely first big televised break in Impact Wrestling. He definitely had a good long career there. And then obviously, you know, everyone's dream is to get over to the WWE because that's like the mecca of sports entertainment. But it looks like he's doing really good things. He's naturally over with the audience, which is something that, you know, if you're not a product of Vince McMahon, then it kind of takes you a little bit longer to get a substantial push because obviously Vince McMahon thinks he's, you know, Frankenstein and trying to create Frankenstein's monster. But when you're in that kind of position, man, you literally have to listen to your audience and they're going to tell you who they want to get behind
That's
and
why
who they don't.
That's why I'm glad Vince McMahon is bye-bye in Triple H because Triple H knows what we want. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, well, yes, he's definitely going to listen more to what the crowd is going to get behind. Although there was for that while there where they really didn't care and they kept trying to shove Roman Reigns down everybody's throat. Same with Batista, and even though people were clearly behind Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt and other wrestlers, but because they created those gimmicks on their own and got the fans over with it, that kind of rubbed Vince McMahon the wrong way. Like, no, I'm the creator. I'm the one that puts out all this talent and makes all these creations. But if you like I said, if you listen to your audience, they're going to tell you who they're going to get behind and who they won't. And they're gonna, if they don't, they will let you know. And a perfect example is Mariah May. No, not Mariah May. Sorry, Maxine Dupree. That's what I'm thinking about. Maxine Dupree. She unfortunately was met with a chorus of boos at this last WWE live event or house show, something or other, where she was booed heavily from the crowd. And something that was completely out of her hands. So there's definitely something there. Obviously, the fans, like I said, the fans are gonna tell you who they're gonna get behind and who they're not. So that's just one thing that they need to take into consideration.
Another match that I enjoyed that wasn't necessarily the outcome I wanted, but still a good match, was the Judgment Day versus Catch Society. I am a huge Pete Dunne fan, and I thought that match was just 5-star all the way. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Yeah, like I'm loving. I got tired of that butch crap that they were doing with Pete Dunne, and I'm just a big fan of the bruiser weight. That was Vince.
Yeah, no. Again, that was another McMahon thing where someone's over and for some reason he just wants to go and change their name, like they changed Matt Riddle to just Riddle and Austin Theory to just Theory. Like,
and
what
then
are you doing? Like,
and then make him wear a pub cap and overalls. Now that's not Pete Dunne. That's not who he is. Pete Dunne is the bruiserweight.
And so it was good to see him. And who was it? Tyler Bate, I believe.
Tyler Bate.
Okay, yeah, it's good to see them tag teaming because if you remember,
Mustache Mountain.
There was a few. I mean, obviously this was a work feud and stuff like that, part of the program. But Pete Dunne attacked Tyler Bate and put him on the shelf, and they had their feud going for a while when NXT UK was going on. So,
well, see, they have a lot of history because they were both members with Trent Seven of Mustache Mountain. Which, yeah, that's, it's pretty much what we're getting. They're referencing their old trios team, which was Mustache Mountain, which I don't know where Trent Seven is. I know he's out of the WWE, but I wish they'd bring him back and reform that trio of the Mustache Mountain. But that remains to be seen. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily the outcome I wanted, but Judgment Day did awesome. I do hope they get to run it back again, and I want to see Catch Society as the tag team champions for sure.
There could be a rematch at WrestleMania or something like that, because as of now, I don't think there is a tag team title match on the docket for WrestleMania. Is there?
Not that I know of, no. But hopefully
Okay.
they're in the picture because I mean they
Either
are.
night one or either night one or night two at WrestleMania. Definitely gotta have, because I mean that's the night that you gotta have all your titles on the line. I mean, it's WrestleMania. Like that's the, as they like to say, their Super Bowl of professional wrestling. So
Hope to see the Catch Society there. They are a team that is a real wrestling fan. Like if you're a fan like of the in-ring work and everything, they are the prototypical team of what real wrestling fans like. You know what I'm saying? That look just beyond the promos, and which I'm not saying those people aren't true wrestling fans, but that are, you know, for the in-ring work, not just necessarily the promos and the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, they want the entire package: promo, ring work, presence, anything that.
The quote unquote smart marks.
Mm-hmm.
Which my little nephew Anthony Hernandez is not, because like I said I would shout him out on the show, and here's your shout out, Anthony Hernandez. Mister, when I try to watch wrestling with him, he watches the entrances, then he watches the promos. That during the match I'll see him doing wrestling moves on the couch, not watching at all. But hey, that is, I used to be the same way when I was a kid, so my least favorite parts of the wrestling was the actual wrestling. So, but solid show. There weren't very many matches. It was what, 4 matches in total, I want to say
4 or 5, something like that. Yeah, they
Was
kept it for as long as the pay-per-view went. It was almost kind of like a match an hour or something like that. So
yeah, it wasn't very many matches. A big segment of it was the segment with what's the guy's name from Australia? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh wait,
Austin Theory's friend.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, the Waller effect. That was a huge, but it was weird to me that was on a pay-per-view. I don't know why that wouldn't have been just on a Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, this was done because it's kind of leading up to our future WrestleMania match, possible tag team, or could be a solo one-on-one that turns into a tag team. Do you want to go ahead and get into that now here on the rundown?
Yeah, but let's go ahead and move on to that here. Good job. Let's see here. Boom, our next topic. This right here, we got it went from Rock versus Reigns, Cody winning the Royal Rumble, and then Cody out the picture, Rock versus Reigns. Now we're seeing, now Seth Rollins is interjected into the picture. We know who Seth Rollins will be facing now in Drew McIntyre. But then we have what was supposed to be the first night. It was supposed to be Rollins and Cody versus Reigns and The Rock. But now you're saying that may have changed or whatnot, or what's the deal? Where are we now in this jumbled up mess that I'm having trouble keeping track of? And
so it's looked like they're doing this kind of intentionally just to kind of play and feel things out, which direction they want to take it in. Because as we, on the Grayson Waller effect, 2 things happened during that segment. One, obviously Cody Rhodes challenged The Rock to a match one-on-one.
Yep.
Seth Rollins obviously states like, look, like, obviously we know that you're not going to get a one-on-one match against The Rock with the bloodline lurking somewhere around either the ring, backstage, in the crowd, whatever. When that match goes down, I will be there to have your. So this is possibly setting up to now be a one-on-one match versus Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. Obviously, as Seth Rollins alluded to, the bloodline's not going to be too far behind. So that in turn is where Roman Reigns possibly will have an impact on said match, thus bringing out Seth Rollins, there in turn turning it into a tag team match on night 1. So now don't forget, Seth Rollins is also injured. He has an MCL tear or an ACL tear. He has one of those.
Yeah.
One of those is a tear, ACL or MCL. I think it's an MCL tear. So he's almost on the verge of being cleared to compete. So we just hope that nothing happens between now to April 6th, night one of WrestleMania, to where we do get that one-on-one turned into a tag team match. So once that happens, then obviously I'm thinking in that match, that outcome, obviously it's going to end in a DQ win for Cody Rhodes, obviously, because with the bloodline interfering. That in turn turning into a tag team match. I think Cody and Seth Rollins pick up the win. Now you got to kind of think, okay, which one of those two, Rock, Roman Reigns, which one of those is going to take the pinfall and count the lights, so to say?
So let's see. My guess would be The Rock.
You think The Rock is going to take the pin?
Logically, I would say The Rock because, I mean, we're not going to see him very much more. Probably after WrestleMania. I doubt he's still going to be there. I mean, his whole Hollywood career. Roman, they're going to want to keep him strong until our boy Cody pins him. And yeah, so that's my guess, is that The Rock would probably take the pin.
So speaking of The Rock taking the pin, is this possibly because of the fact that he has not had a full-length wrestling match in 10 years? So they're going to try to feel out how he could work or how he will work in the match. I mean, yeah, he's saying he's in the ring training, getting ready and stuff like that. That's a lot different than actually being in the ring and actually fighting somebody, you know.
Ring rust is real. Very real thing. So I mean, who knows? It's got me invested. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know what they're going to do, but I can't wait to find out. And we're not going to find out until a week before WrestleMania, or a week before, maybe if we're lucky, or night one. So I mean, it's coming up.
So they're using these next few weeks to build up what potentially route they're going to go for night one of WrestleMania.
Either way, I'm interested to see it.
Now, the second thing that happened during the Grayson Waller effect was the attack on Austin Theory, followed by the curb stomp, and then Grayson Waller himself also laying in a few shots onto Austin Theory. Is now, since this happened, there's rumors and speculation that this is going to turn Austin Theory into a baby face.
Oh, wait. Whoa. I didn't see that part. I maybe looked over, or maybe went got something to drink or something. I didn't see Grayson Waller actually attack Austin Theory. I did see him stand back and was just like, while Cody and Rollins were beating the crap out of him, and curb stomping. I didn't see the actual. So Grayson Waller attacked Austin Theory?
I think when he was down, or it may have just been like what you said, like he just stood back and didn't intervene.
You could be right, because I didn't pay attention the whole time. I was probably, going to get a sandwich or something.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, we just come back off of a extremely long weekend, and I was only on like 10 hours of sleep for the whole weekend. So
true that.
When we finally got home and I got to watch Elimination Chamber. So I wish I truly remembered how exactly what happened.
Because I did see them beating the crap out of him, and he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing to help his boy.
Yeah, exactly. So this in turn is potential to leading to an Austin Theory babyface run. Can you see Austin Theory as a babyface, or does he have that "you're a bad guy, I want to punch you in the face" demeanor? Like just that attitude, that smug appearance he has on his face.
I've been seeing him as a heel since watching him at VIP Wrestling in Dallas in a high school gymnasium when he was the Spanish God. Oh my God, Sammy Guevara when he was his he was his tag team partner. They were heels. I've never seen the guy as a face, even in the indies. I've never seen him. He always had that shit-eating grin and that just total jerk look to him. So I think he is a natural heel. But hey, I'm willing to see how it goes. So we'll just, maybe it could be, or at least a feud with him and Grayson Waller. I mean, but it begs the question: how many matches can you really? Well, there's 2 nights, so. I wonder if that would be a WrestleMania, which that would get, Austin Theory, which I'm glad to see Austin, because like I said, I've been watching him since he was wrestling in a high school gymnasium as Sammy Guevara's tag team partner. I would love to see him on a WrestleMania card again, so I think I'm all for it. I would like to see them too. They're very similar.
If they do visit that match, I've got a feeling it's not going to be on the actual card,
probably not
WrestleMania, but more than likely probably on the pre-show.
Right, yeah. And I mean that's something. So but we'll just have to see how it plays out. I'm excited. Great time to be a wrestling fan because there's so much going on. So you want to move on here?
Yeah, what do we got next on the
where we're gonna go from here? Let's see. Also, other things that are going on in wrestling, we have well, let's go with this right here. Do you want to get into the bummer stuff first, or keep the high?
Let's go to get that out of the way.
All right. So Mr. Cena here had a controversial statement when it comes to the situation with Mr. McMahon. Now I think at Juggalo Weekend I already told you my opinion on it, but and I'll get to that in a second. But give him the rundown. SB, so for lack of a better term.
So John Cena was recently on an episode of Howard Stern. We all know who Howard Stern is, man, the man of cringe media. Although I haven't really listened to his stuff a whole lot lately. But anyway,
he ain't who he used to be.
No, that's from my understanding. He had John Cena on his program for the last week, I believe Friday he was on, and he asked John Cena about the whole McMahon scandal going on, and Cena's comments on it kind of faced a lot of backlash from a lot of fans. Pretty much Cena just gave it straightforward. He's like, it hurts. I love the man, but I also feel that there needs to be accountability. He said he had nothing but a great work relationship with Vince McMahon. He loves the man, but also at the same time, if he is guilty of what happened, then definitely needs to be held accountable. Now Orton and Randy Orton, Kevin Owens have also speak on this as well too, and both of them pretty much said they're heartbroken, and that's all they're really. Randy Orton said it hurts his heart to hear about what happened. He really didn't specify any more on that, and the same with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens pretty much said it's heartbreaking, but definitely needs to be held accountable once all the investigations have been completed. So, but Cena's being big time Hollywood actor as well too. His are definitely going to be more at the forefront of the reactions coming from fans, because not only does he have his wrestling fans, but he also has Hollywood movie acting fans as well too. So
the way I see it, like, okay, so I get where people are very passionate about it. It's a messed up situation. I don't see nothing really wrong with what he said. I mean, because, you can have a brother that does something really messed up and you still love that brother, but you also know, hey, I love him, but he has to face the consequences. And that's kind of what I got from Cena. So but still, you're never going to keep everybody happy with everything you say. So, of course, he gets some backlash. I mean, but I personally don't find anything wrong with what he said, but I do also get there's a lot of people passionate. I mean, he did have apparently a good relationship with McMahon. I mean, he made him who he is. So, I mean, I don't know if they were just expecting him to go on a 10-minute monologue of him trashing Mr. McMahon. I don't know, but I mean, I think he handled that very well with how he said it, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
I could see how, you know, people, because you're right. I mean, obviously people are gonna rush and jump in hopes that everyone who works with the man knows the man, and the man being Vince McMahon, obviously, are just gonna automatically run to just disparage and just completely just trash talk the man who they've all worked for so long, and then come to find out that really behind closed doors, he's this complete sexual deviant monster, allegedly sexual deviant monster. Got to make sure we put that alleged out there, because he has not been convicted of a crime. However, I mean, the investigations need to happen, research, and whatever happens. You're going to have people who aren't going to be happy with the verdict. You're going to have people who are. You're going to have people happy with the comments that wrestlers make on the situation, and same thing, you'll have people who aren't. So it's the definition of a two-edged sword. You know?
I feel no matter what he said, he was going to get scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? No matter what he said, he was going to get scrutiny. That was one of them. He was in a hard place. See what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I mean, we'll just have to see how this plays out. You know, hopefully Cena didn't ruin anything for himself. But speaking of Cena, do you want to jump into the next topic involving Cena?
Yeah, let's run this down.
All right, so Cena, and I feel bad for Alex Riley, because this is one guy, everybody talks good about Cena. I like Cena. I hear just what he is on TV is what he is in person. But I've heard some kind of weird stuff about Cena in the past. And one person that
his
has
early days in WWE have definitely been filled with controversy. But
now, there's something I do want to say before you continue. Now, this is out of left field, whatever. A lot of people jumped on Matt Riddle, and I'm not taking up for him for cheating on his wife. And I'm putting this out there, and for cheating on, but nobody held Mr. Cena here to the same. Because, I mean, am I wrong? Didn't he, and it is a pretty much going conclusion that he cheated on his wife with what was her name? Hardcore Country.
James.
Nikki James. Yeah, I was about to say Nikki Bella, but Nikki James.
No, Mickey James.
Mickey. Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm messing up here.
So there's conflicting statements on that one. One, yes, there was the intimacy with Mickey James, but she was also at the time dating Kenny Dykstra. You remember Kenny Dykstra?
Yeah, that was a whole nother part to it also.
From the Spirit Squad. Yeah, she was in a relationship with Kenny Dykstra, and then behind his back, Mickey and Cena were, canoodling, for lack of a better word. Not only was he involved in a, I guess, backstage romantic relationship with her, but also with Victoria as well. You remember Victoria?
Yeah, I remember Victoria. Who could forget?
So there was definitely a couple rumors and reports that not only was he sleeping around with Mickey James behind Kenny Dykstra's back, but also with Victoria as well too. And then they ended up having him clean up his act. And
I mean, you got to also remember he was a young wrestler, But
And I mean, there's no beating around the bush. Like, he definitely used as he was becoming more and more the face of the company. There's been, and he's even admitted that uh kind of he's made some bad decisions in regards to using his backstage power in order to have the endings of matches changed. So there was the Team WWE versus Team Nexus
Now let's
match.
get to that point. A lot of people say good stuff
Yeah,
about Cena, but one person that doesn't is the other guy in the picture, Alex Riley. So give the rundown on
right.
that. That's what you're getting into.
Yeah. So obviously, as we know, Alex Riley was protege for The Miz. On the come up of Alex Riley breaking away from The Miz, he was poised to become the next rising star. Um,
Good looking guy.
yeah, real good looking guy, talented. Definitely had the it material, but due to some backstage politics,
AKA Cena.
Cena, and having with Vince McMahon's ear, pretty much got Alex Riley's push uh, shelved, so to say. Pretty much just
Never recovered
railroaded
from it
his
either.
career.
Never recovered
Uh-huh.
from it.
Nope. And the same thing happened, like I was saying before we got into this, was that Team WWE versus Team Nexus match at Survivor Series, where Cena used his backstage power to have the match changed from Team Nexus, uh, essentially Wade Barrett getting the win over Cena. Cena had it changed to Cena getting the win over Wade Barrett. And that right there just completely demolished any credibility that you were building up in the Nexus along with Wade Barrett. So there's definitely no qualms about it that people in high positions of power within the company definitely use backstage politics to get things changed. I mean, Randy Orton's done it, Hulk Hogan's done it, Shawn Michaels done it. I believe Bret Hart has done it as well too. Um, it's a nasty game in the wrestling industry, but it's a nasty game in any kind of industry you're in.
Hmm.
Music, movies, entertainment, sports entertainment, whatever. So you definitely have people who are seen as high and above try to sabotage your career. And that, I think, is just a low down dirty move. Although Cena has come forward and acknowledged that when he had that change to the match done, he regretted it instantly.
Now, there's another part of this. I tried to look for it. I know it stemmed from Ryback. Ryback, Mr. I think his name is what, Matt Reeves. He
I
actually,
believe.
yeah, he had some things to say about Cena and Alex Riley. I don't know how. I tried to look for it, but I couldn't find the actual story. What's the situation that there's a story out there that could dealing with maybe okay. I might be getting it wrong. Dealing with Alex Riley, dealing with Cena, and dealing with Triple H that may affect Cena's actual Hollywood career. What's the sitch on that?
Yeah, so had heard about this and listening to the report was do you remember Rene Dupree from La Resistance from like 2005-ish era, Monday Night Raw, when they were doing the whole aggression era?
I did start watching that episode of Cafe Dupree, and
Yeah.
but I didn't get what was their actual like what. I guess the story isn't out there, but they're alluding to a certain story dealing with these three.
Yeah, so Rene Dupree played a clip off of Ryback's podcast stating that there is a story somewhere stemming that there is a story involving Caitlyn. You remember Caitlyn?
Yeah,
NXT, WWE Diva, um, and Triple H, along with a story of John Cena and Alex Riley. And Ryback says that the information that he has in regards to the Cena and Alex Riley allegation is that it could jeopardize severely John Cena's Hollywood career. That's all to the extent that I know. I just found it really interesting. Kind of makes me want to find out more information about it as to what exactly Ryback has in regards to that situation.
What I wonder, what did Alex Riley do to Cena? Like, man, from what all I gather from interviews with Alex Riley for other people, John Cena had it out for this guy. I don't understand, Mr. Honesty, loyal, and respect. What made him just go after this guy so bad? I wish I knew.
Yeah, I know sometimes it just has to do with a spot in a match that the opposing person does or doesn't do. Because if you remember, there was the match between Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston where Orton hit Kingston with a finishing move, but I guess Kofi Kingston popped back up and Orton had to put him down again and was yelling at him, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." And once that match was over, Orton went to the back, had a word with Vince McMahon, and that halted Kofi Kingston's career for a long time and kept him just in the mid card and with the tag team. Why do you think it took Kofi Kingston 11 years before he finally reached back to the top to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania? So obviously something had to have been done in a match involving Alex Riley and John Cena.
I just I wonder what happened, but it just seems like from what he's saying and from what other people are saying, he just had it out for him. And then with the Triple H, I heard something with Kate, with that one chick that from NXT WWE. There was a time where I think she was suing somebody and Triple H was funding it. And there was a time where Stephanie or Hunter weren't wearing their rings on TV, he had mentioned. Just stuff like that. I didn't get I got the gist of it. I didn't get the whole thing, but there may have been some deception among the three of them. In other words, like, I don't know.
I don't know too much about that whole ordeal. That was just all that I could, heard about, was just that the Cena Riley situation was so bad that it could possibly jeopardize Cena's Hollywood career. So
Ryback, let it out, bro. Like,
Ryback, if somehow you come across this podcast, man, get a hold of us and let us know.
Yeah,
man.
You ain't gotta put it out. We'll put it out. Like, we'll take the smoke. We're just two guys here in Texas. We'll put it out. No skin to you. Actually leak it to us. We're trying to build a following here.
Speaking of which, so when I was going back to JCW Weekend, while I was sending in the merch line at the show, I was talking to one of the girlfriends of the two real tall wrestlers.
The Redwoods. The Redwood.
Yeah, the Redwoods. It was like Tall Paul and someone else. I can't remember what his name was, but I was talking to the girlfriend of Tall Paul, and she was telling me that he actually played the Undertaker on the Young Rock series. And so
I need to go watch that.
Yeah, so I had mentioned to her, that's great. You're like, I love that show. That show's awesome. And I obviously told her, about us doing this, and she said she was down, he's down to do podcast interviews. So I gave her the YouTube subscription of the channel and everything like that we do on here. So hopefully, if she comes across it, she'll reach out and we could set up to where we could get him on here and interview him. I mean, that would be pretty cool, don't you think?
Yeah, goals, bro. Like, and we need that. So you guys comment. Well, we'll get to that. We need to get I need to get on that TikTok game for sure. But yeah, so it's a slow build and we're working on it. As you can, guys, I've been leveling up my editing skills. As you guys can see, I've been cutting stuff in and stuff, so trying to make this as professional as possible. So but we'll do our plugs later.
Yeah, towards the everything else for the for the paying the bills, so to say, we'll come towards
Yeah,
the
so
end of the episode.
help us build this following. We're two interesting guys talking about wrestling. What more do you want?
Right. Speaking
okay.
of what more do we want, what do we got next here on the rundown?
All right, so next thing, let's see what else we can go into here. Speaking of NXT and people coming back, like The Rock, we also had somebody else make their return to WWE grounds, and that is Mr. Shawn Spears. Is he going by that? Is he still doing that?
No,
Ty Dillinger,
no,
or he's Shawn Spears?
He is Shawn Spears.
I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, no, neither did I. I was scrolling through Twitter and saw that he returned. Nobody knew about it. Supposedly, like, he had just signed his deal right before that happened, and not too many people knew about it. Apparently, it was Shawn Michaels who was acting in Shawn Spears' place, going over the move, and with what was going to happen, and then no one knew that it was going to be Shawn Spears until it happened. All they saw was just that a guy jumped into the ring, hood over his head, smashed Isla, however you pronounce his last name, in the NXT Heavyweight Champion, in the back with the chair. Boom, hood goes down, and it's Shawn Spears.
Awesome.
And so, yes, so he is officially going by Shawn Spears.
That's
and
awesome.
This is just going to be interesting to see where they take him from here. Are they going to have him just jump into the heavyweight title match or picture, or what are they going to do?
Yeah, I'm glad to see him back in WWE. I mean, I was hopeful with him in because I think his name was Gavin Spears or whatever. Gavin, way back even before Ty Dillinger, he was in NXT or Florida Championship Rally as Gavin Spears or something like that. And I'm ready for him to get his shine. You know, I thought in AEW he started off strong, but then he just kind of went away. And
once that whole Pinnacle thing disbanded, he had a small little feud with Malachi Black in the House of Black, but that didn't really lead him anywhere. And I think his last match on AEW was like towards the end of 2023. So yeah, definitely hope this run in WWE for him, be it NXT or back up onto the main card, definitely goes better for him this time around. So
third time's a charm. I mean, this is his third time coming back to WWE, believe it or not. Yeah, he was way back. I'm talking about when Colt Cabana was in Florida Championship Wrestling Development. He was there. He was there, and then he got let go. Then he came back. That's when the Ty Dillinger thing happened. Then he got let go again, and now he's back again. So this is his third time. So third time's a charm, hopefully, for Mr. Shawn Spears.
Fingers crossed. Speaking of NXT, isn't that held at Full Sail University there in Florida?
I don't know if it still is. Is it?
I believe it is.
It still is.
I believe they may still have their performance center down there.
I know it's their performance center is in Florida. I just don't know if Full Sail is still part of it. If it's still at Full Sail or they got their own, place to do it. I'm not sure.
Possibly. But speaking of Full Sail University, isn't there, don't we have a story here on the rundown? Speaking of occupations or potential wrestling taking place at Full Sail University?
Would that happen to be... Wait a second. I've lost it. I'm sorry. I'm choking on the set. Is that our NWA story, or is that our NXT on CW story?
No, that would, I believe, be our TNA wrestling.
Oh, yeah, they are. Okay, I wasn't sure about that they were going to be at Full Sail. I didn't know. So then that means I don't think NXT is there anymore.
Well, I mean, it could be, but they could just have it in a separate building. So, um, word on the street is that uh, TNA Wrestling now wants to go and do a weekly live TV show. Uh, and one of the locations that has been discussed is there at Full Sail University. However, Anthem, which is TNA Wrestling's parent company, doesn't want to go that route due to budget reasons. So obviously we know every company has a budget on what they want to spend for their product. So TNA wants to move it to a weekly live show at a location, Full Sail University being a name that or a location that was mentioned, but Anthem wants them to keep it how it is. And per reports, through Fightful Select, I want to say, is stating that the reason why TNA let Scott D'Amore go is because Scott D'Amore wanted
Guy in the picture.
Wanted to hire. Yes, that is the person in the picture, Mr. Manager of Team Canada from TNA Impact Wrestling's early days, former professional wrestler. Actually, still did get in the ring and cut it up as of late of last year. Anthem wants to. Wait, I'm repeating myself. It happens.
Yep.
So TNA let Scott D'Amore go because Scott D'Amore wanted to bring in and hire more wrestlers. TNA said no due to budget concerns. So are they using the money that they're saving on paying Scott D'Amore? Are they going to pretty much use the salary that they were paying him into their budget of doing the weekly live shows?
Well, I think there could have been. My opinion, Anthem needs to open the checkbook. For God's sakes, they own WWE, they own the UFC, cash cows. I think they could break off TNA and build them up. I would love to see TNA and WWE hand in hand. You know what I'm saying?
Again,
keep them separate, but
Anthem isn't the parent company of WWE. That's Endeavor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Endeavor, but TKO Group
owns Anthem. Correct? Or am I wrong?
No. TKO is, well, I guess technically in a way you're right, because TKO is the parent company of Endeavor, and Endeavor obviously is now overseeing WWE, UFC, and actually now part of TNA Wrestling, or actually all of TNA Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
in a way, they're kind of all underneath the same umbrella.
Let's make that umbrella smaller. Let's open the checkbook.
Exactly. Anthem, I think, I agree with you, needs to open up their checkbook a little bit more, and the money that they were using to pay Scott D'Amore, put that more into your budget and allow TNA to do live weekly shows, or even just take TNA back on the road, So, but obviously, you got to start out in a certain market because they're not dealing with that Dixie Carter, Billy Corgan, Jeff Jarrett money. They're kind of having to do still their own little thing. So they definitely should probably do it in like a tester market to see how well it'll get over, and then just expand on that.
And for God's sake, bring Scott D'Amore back.
Yes, work out a deal with Scott D'Amore. If not, Anthem, TNA, that's a big foul on you. Tony Khan, pick up Scott D'Amore. Get someone back into your writing room that knows professional wrestling.
Whoa, yeah, one other thing. Hang on. Speaking of TNA, 1 second, sir. 1 second. Speaking of TNA has a 1 second. A new writer. There. So we have
AEW has
AEW. I'm sorry. I was focusing on getting the picture up. Like, this is supposed to be our you know, like, our most professional show, and I'm screwing the pooch all the way here. But Tony Khan, okay, let me do this properly now. Tony Khan, okay, so you got you a soap opera writer. Speaking of Scott D'Amore, let's get him in the same room with her, and let's get an actual wrestling mind in the same room with her, and let's write some good television, because we need AEW on the come up. All right, take it away, bro. I'm screwing up.
It's all good. That's why we have edit options on here. So
Yeah.
yes, AEW has hired a new writer for their backstage product. Obviously, hopefully, this will bring more light to the AEW product. Now, in the press release that AEW issued, it did state that she does have years of background experience in professional wrestling, along with her many years of working on soap operas. And there were definitely some long running soap operas listed. I mean, General Hospital, All My Children, I think One Life to Live, just a slew of credit to her name. So hopefully, with the addition of this new writer, TNA, or I'm even seeing TNA now. Look what you did, man.
I'm messing it up, bro. It's my bad.
Even AEW will hopefully start upping their game and start doing better booking. I think a lot of it has to deal with the crowds that are coming out. Is people just aren't being satisfied with the booking. When AEW started, they were essentially what WCW was when Hogan turned up and turned his back on Macho Man Randy Savage, joined Kevin Nash and Scott Hall to form the NWO. That's what AEW was when they first burst on the scene. We need to get back to that. AEW definitely needs to go back to their core values of what they were when they started this company. And hopefully with the addition of Jennifer Pepperman, this brand new writer in the mix, hopefully this will bring viewership back and start attracting a newer audience as well too, aside from the hardcore AEW wrestling fan itself.
So what I'm saying is get Scott D'Amore, enlist him, get her in a writer's room with Jennifer, get him in the writer's room with Jennifer Pepperman, get Tony Khan in there also, and they write some good storylines, some good TV for this product is what I would say. Tony Khan, if this sees your eyes, get Scott D'Amore in there. You got a good story writer. Let's get a professional wrestling mind in there too. An actual booking genius.
Scott D'Amore, Jennifer Pepperman, and with the addition of QT Marshall coming back into the AEW.
Forgot about him. Yes.
Yes.
You got a good team right there. You got a good team.
Yes. Tony Khan just kind of needs to, I think just needs to let go of the reins a little bit and just let the three of them just work their magic.
And I guarantee we will see some compelling TV come out of the deal. I promise you that. Speaking of, you ready to move on?
Yeah. What do we got next here on the rundown?
Speaking of, we're going to go on back to NXT. As you can see here, we have NXT going to the CW in 2024.
Yes, I saw this online the other day. It was Shawn Michaels and Triple H shaking hands with I'm going to assume a high executive board member of the CW, talking about the future relationship between the two companies. So looks like NXT will be moving to CW. That's definitely going to be something to see. Are they going to keep it on Tuesday nights on the CW, or now that AEW, hate to say it, is kind of struggling right now on their Wednesday nights, are they going to move NXT back to Wednesday nights to go back to head-to-head competition with AEW? Could this bring upon the final last couple nails in the coffin of the AEW product.
Now, I will say this, like, I was actually hoping that we would all see all of WWE's shows end up on Netflix, like Raw is going to Netflix. I would love to have a one-stop shop for all of WWE, but, you know, I guess Netflix only wanted Raw, or I don't know. It remains to be seen what all content we're going to have on Netflix next year, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, you know, network TV, you know, the CW. They're going to be on there with, you know, Flash and the Arrow, which I think those actually ended, but, you know, we're going to...
Yeah, you're a little...
That's the last...
That run.
That's the last time I gave a crap about CW, I'll be honest.
Arrow ended back in 2022, I believe, and the Flash ended last year.
Yeah, I'm a little late to that.
And I mean, there are no more DC shows on the CW. The Flash was the last one.
No,
to go.
That was some good TV. I'm sorry.
I enjoyed the shows. I thought Grant Gustin did a great job playing Barry Allen, the Flash, and actually, Grant Gustin has even actually said he would be up for returning as the Flash in James Gunn's DC universe.
I don't know what it is. I hated how they, like, we're getting off the wrestling topic, but so be it. I hate how they I wish they would have did like Marvel and just left it all in one continuity with the movies and the TV verse. And I think that was a big mistake that they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had actually made that complaint as well before too, so I get what you're saying. Anyways, back onto wrestling. This is what we're here for. We are here for wrestling. Yes, NXT going to CW in 2024. When in 2024? Not really 100% certain on that yet. I believe the deal is being finalized, so hopefully we will know when that will be making the jump to the CW here time soon.
Speaking of wrestling promotions and their TV deals, we have another update on a TV deal with NWA Power here. So, NWA Power going to be, I think you said Mondays now and not Tuesdays?
I was wrong. I was so off my weeks last week because I had last Monday off. So my Tuesdays, I was thinking was a Monday, or I don't know where my brain was when that went down. But NWA Power is on Monday nights on the CW, not Tuesdays. So
I just put that to. I hope NXT doesn't mess with that. Do you think?
I don't think they will. I think this is going to be its own. I think NXT is going to be on a different night.
Because I know Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan's been struggling for years to try to get this on network TV. So I hope it's there to stay. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this was just simply a correction on the nights that NWA Power is on TV. It's Monday nights, not Tuesdays. That's my bad, y'all. So we essentially are going to have wrestling 5 nights a week. We got Monday night Raw, NWA Power. Tuesday night is NXT. Wednesday night is AEW Dynamite. Thursday is TNA. And Friday is SmackDown and Rampage, and Saturday is Collision. So
that's 6 nights a week.
Yeah, 6 nights a week, and then 7 if you count pay-per-views as well too, which we will be ordering the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, which is Sting's last match ever.
Let's get into that now, and let me get that up there. Boom. Oh, wait, not yet. Boom. Sting's last match. Hey, it's a lot of clicking, a lot going on behind the scenes right here to make this work. But hopefully one day we can delegate somebody to do this. But hey, that's what I'm here for. But yeah, so Sting's last match. I thought it had already taken place. I know Rick had his last match. So yeah, what can you tell me about this? What's the deal? What's Ric Flair's role even in Sting's upcoming last match at Revolution?
So this last week on either Dynamite, I want to say it was Dynamite, Ric Flair showed up and gave a speech to Renee Paquette saying, he hasn't been here as much as he should have to have Sting's back. And that he was going to go and have a word with somebody to discuss a role that he will have in regards to Sting's final match. He walks over to the Young Bucks room, Matthew and Nicholas. He goes into their locker room. Door shuts. No one knows what is said. Last night, during final closing moments of Dynamite, Young Bucks spent all of AEW Dynamite looking for Sting. They wanted to conduct his exit interview. And finally, towards the end of the show, the Young Bucks made their way out to the ring. Obviously, as has been known to happen with Sting, he would normally he'd still be in Sting face paint, but he would wear a Sting mask and be a fan sitting out in the crowd. He gets unmasked and it's Sting and everybody freaks out. Well, they were essentially did the same thing last night. However, Darby Allin was wearing a Sting mask and got the jump on Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. That then, of course, led to a beatdown of Darby Allin. No appearance from Sting. Finally, Ric Flair comes out and he's got his big, grin on his face, like, haha, look at me, dirtiest player in the game. He goes on, he gets into the ring. Looks like he's going to take a shot at Darby Allin. Nope. Thumb to the eye of the Young Bucks. Throws in a few punches. Sting, finally, his music hits over the screen, over the speakers. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson get out of the ring. They run up the ramp and are waiting for Sting to come out from the back. Nope. What does Sting do? He descends from the rafters. We're talking 1996-97 Sting from the rafters style to essentially get the jump on the Young Bucks, both him and Darby Allin. That then, of course, leads to a brawl between the Young Bucks and Sting and Darby, with the final moment of the night, Sting hitting a Scorpion Death Drop on Matthew Jackson to end the show.
Feel good moment right there, man. So yeah, well, we'll see. I hope he sticks around after his final match, kind of, I guess, in Darby's corner. But yeah, end of an era, man. The Icon going out, bro. I do wish. What was that?
Was he did not want to win a title while he was there in AEW. He was completely fine just being in a tag team with Darby Allin, no gold whatsoever. But it wasn't until he kept getting all the encouraging kind of little pushiness from Darby, Flair, Tony, everybody in the back, until he finally agreed to winning a title in AEW. And with it being tag team gold with Darby Allin, I think is a good way to send him off. Obviously, Sting and Darby are gonna lose at Revolution this Sunday, but it's been one hell of a ride for the Stinger, man. We're talking since the 80s that Sting has been wrestling. So we're going 80s, 90s, 1000s, 10s to 20s. That's 5 decades of wrestling for Sting.
For the Stinger. But the one match that we never got, and I wish we would have got it, and you know what I'm about to say.
Sting versus The Undertaker?
Sting versus The Undertaker. Yeah, I wish we would have got that match. And we never got it. I would really like to see, nothing against AEW. I love AEW. I wish we would have got to see him retire in WWE. But that's that is that. I wish we could have seen the Undertaker and Sting retire each other, but that's not the world we live in. And but you know what could have been.
Right. I believe at WrestleMania 30, the one in San Francisco, I believe that was originally slated to be Sting versus Undertaker. But for some reason, they changed it up and had Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker and Sting versus Triple H.
Now it's most likely due to the fact that they needed a younger guy to kind of carry the match, is my guess. I mean, they were both well into their ages by that time, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if this was definitely mid 90s, and we're talking mid 90s Undertaker, mid 90s Sting, it could be either Surfer Sting or even the Crow Sting. I think that would have been the year to have made that match happen.
Yep, what could have been, man. Now, well, we'll see. I hope that he goes out kicking some serious tail, bro. You know, Sting, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. But they're probably going to lose because, I mean, like most wrestlers say, your way out is usually on your back with a 1, 2, 3. So, well, we'll see how it goes. Revolution coming up. Now, our next order of business is back to the WWE side of things. Another kind of bummer of a story that we have for you guys is Mr. McMahon still owning part of the WWE. Take it away, Mr. SP.
Now, not so much the WWE as far as it is in the voting of the stock.
He owns stakes. He still owns stakes.
Yeah, he still owns stakes. About $20 million worth. And this is portion of the voting of the stock holds. So pretty much he still has power in determining where their stocks are, how they're going to be bought and sold. So everything has to do with money. Obviously, unfortunately, money makes the world go round. But it's that type of greed that people have that just makes me sick to my stomach.
It even says in the Bible, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and that is very true.
Yeah, if you just love money, that is wrong.
So yeah, the guy, when you think you're gone, he still keeps a little bit in there when you think he's gone. So, but it is what it is. Anything you want to add to that? Him still being, he still has his grubby mitts in there.
There's so much I could go off on this. He somehow just needs to be voted out, and hopefully whatever comes of this investigation against him is the final nail in the coffin for him to finally just get rid of him altogether, out of TKO, out of everything. There's got to be a clause or something in his contract that says, I don't know. I'm not here to try to make excuses for anybody or make assumptions, but something needs to happen where it's the last final straw where TKO is just finally like, you know what, we're done.
I did hear that Netflix has, I could be wrong, because I did hear before that they weren't going to hold any punches, but I did hear that his Netflix, the show they were going to do on him, his biography or whatever, has been halted at this point. Am I correct? Did I hear that?
I believe that was the last thing I heard as well, too. They're not 100% sure where they're going to go with it. If they're just going to end it on the high note, or if they're going to keep continuing on with it and have it include his most recent allegations.
So yeah, well, we'll see how that turns out. Now,
so essentially, everything involving him right now is just in a holding pattern. So it's just wait and see what's going to happen.
And we shall see. And now, for our last story of the night, of the evening, kind of a sad one. Mr. Virgil has gone and passed.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but he had actually suffered a couple of strokes. Uh, he was in a hospital, caretaker home, something along those lines, and they had moved him out of
Hospice,
it.
maybe.
Hospice, probably, but some sort of care. It was definitely a care facility. And I believe after they had moved him out of it, I believe he had suffered one more stroke, and just recently, I believe today or last night, it was announced. May have happened last night, but it was announced today that he had unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
And we all know Virgil is best known for being the butler of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Once he finally broke free from $1 Million Man, he would go on to end up winning the $1 Million title. And then once he was released from the WWE, WWF at the time, he would go on and join WCW as part of the NWO with the name Vincent. Obviously a play off of the Vince McMahon character from WWF.
What I remember about Virgil, I've actually run into him a few times at conventions and stuff. I remember you couldn't get too close to him because he had this way. He was a hustler, son. That $1 Million Champion he was a hustler. He would walk, hey, you want a picture? Not even give you a chance. He would get into your, hey, you want a picture? And you and you couldn't tell. You'd be like, yeah, I guess. And you would take a picture with it. Okay, that'd be $20. That dude would hustle you. And we all knew, stay away from Virgil. Don't get too close to him because he will hustle you out of some money. And that's what he was infamous for, rightfully so. You know, you got to get that bread. And he knew how to get that bread. There was nothing free with he had that $1 Million Championship for a reason. I remember that. That dude,
I heard stories. I mean, like, I believe I heard a story. He was even out on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They're on Hollywood Boulevard, trying to sell photos and autographs and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, he more than likely so just like so many other athletes in the sports world, a lot of them don't make good investments with their money. And I have a feeling he unfortunately was in that equation of not investing your money properly. And it sucks because there's a lot of talented wrestlers that unfortunately don't do that, and they squander all their money, and so they're
nothing to show for it in the end.
Yeah, pretty much. They're living in a small little house and barely scraping by with what they can from conventions, appearances, whatever. Have you ever seen that movie, The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke?
Yeah. Years ago, living in a camper and
living in a camper, doing conventions, still trying to perform with the young guys, and it's just a good story to show about what a lot of these wrestlers do to continue in order to live. I mean, he suffers. I mean, I don't know who hasn't out there seen The Wrestler yet. I mean, it's been out since mid 2000s, so it's definitely one that everybody who's a wrestling fan should have seen. But Mickey Rourke plays a former great name professional wrestler who unfortunately, through a lot of bad decisions, is barely scraping to get by and has to resort to doing, some of these cons where it's like,
and working at a meat market.
Meat market, in order to actually get a steady paycheck, and just doing conventions on the weekend, doing shows whenever you can, and just constantly running your body when your body is broken down and it can't perform like it once used to. Anybody out there who has not seen that movie yet definitely needs to see it, and that will give you a good picture of what a lot of these wrestlers have to do once their time in the ring is up with a major promotion.
Yeah. I know there's I'll tell you after the show, but there was a wrestler that I'm not gonna say any names, that I actually, when I was in North Carolina, he was from that area. He was in FCW, gonna be the next big thing, and he got injured or something like that, or something happened where he got injured and he was out of FCW and FCW, and he was gonna be the next biggest thing. I ended up seeing him as the kind of like the wrestler, like Mickey Rourke's character. He was the manager of the meat market at the Publix by my house in North Carolina. And yeah, it was just sad to see, like, you know, because I was watching this guy in FCW before it was NXT, and I was like, man, he's gonna be something. And just to see him, you know, managing a meat market, but you know, the bills don't stop no matter who you were, so you still got to make that money some kind of way. But well, man, is there anything else? Are we missing anything?
Well, I think that's about it. I think
rest in peace to
Rundown.
Rest in peace to Mr. $1 Million.
To Virgil. The man definitely will be missed. And from my understanding, he definitely loved talking to his fans, the ones that actually would come up and chat it up with them. But he definitely cared a lot about his fans and the wrestling business. And like he said, the man was a hustler. Do anything he could to make that buck in order and just to live. I mean,
yeah.
So when you go to an indie show, everybody out there listening, when you go to an indie show, support your local indie wrestlers.
They got to make it like we all do.
They're working their butts off to put on a great show for you. Buy a t-shirt, you know, even if you don't have any money, find a way to support them, go up, congratulate them.
Tell people about them.
Give just words. Tell people about them, words of encouragement. If you want to see what some of these wrestlers do, you know, in a day-to-day life that are on the independent scene, watch Beyond the Mat, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, and also on Netflix, that documentary Wrestlers, that covers OVW, Ohio Valley Championship Wrestling.
I saw that. That was a good
Ohio
documentary.
Valley Wrestling.
Very good documentary.
So those are definitely three of the ones that everyone should check out. And if you just want to watch a really awesome wrestling movie, The Iron Claw is now available on digital, and that hands down,
I want to rewatch it.
Wrestling movies that I saw, that
I want to rewatch it.
My wife saw, and not a tear up until that very end. And you know what that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then that scene in heaven, I would say that's what got me. So but yeah, man, so thanks to everybody out there.
Anyone listening has anything they want to chime in on, if they have a certain subject that they want to talk about, feel free to reach out to us, comment. Me and Dropkick Zombie, we're always checking the channel to see what you guys have to say. So like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you want us to talk about, and just keep out there, keep on keeping on.
Yep, without further ado, I am Dropkick Zombie for SP, and over and out, you guys. Y'all have a good one. Later.
We two loony guys catching eyes with our hype, talking pro wrestling, making all the fans unite. In the ring we swing like a rhyme-making machine with moves so mean, leaving opponents in a dream. You're rocking the mic, flowing tight like a rat. Them no cliche bull with the kings of the mat from the top rope.